Yeah, that's a great question. And what I want to talk about is why YouTube ads are so powerful, especially compared to the other different platforms. And so the reason that I really recommend starting out with YouTube ads when you're going into ads, and the other part of the question is, when should you dive into ads? And it's a good opportunity to dive into ads after you have your offer initially validated. But then as you're looking to scale, that's when ads is really going to allow you to impact and reach more people. And so I'm a big believer in going into ads early, but also making sure that you do have an offer, a practice, whatever it happens to be, that you do know that you're able to service those clients. You have a process on that side of things, and then you have something that you can scale. And so when you're in that spot, when you say, I need to reach new clients, new patients, new people, that's when it's the time to actually start leveraging ads. And the reason I recommend YouTube ads as the first platform that you dive into is because of the fact that it's intent based. So you can reach people that actually have real intent. They're looking for everything that you do, right? They're looking for the solutions that you provide, the ways that you can help them with their health, with their wellness, with everything that they're looking to do. If you think about it this way, on basically every platform, if you think about, Facebook, and, some people are looking to advertise on TikTok or LinkedIn or these other places, the problem with that is it's all scrolling based. It's all an algorithm. So in order to reach your ideal clients, you just have to get in front of, people as they're scrolling. But the problem is you're not necessarily reaching them at the right time. They're just scrolling through. They might be distracted. They might be between a couple different things. We've all done it before. So you're not necessarily reaching them when they have intent. Whereas on YouTube, and Google is like this as well, except Google doesn't have a video, right? It doesn't have that element. Now, Google owns YouTube, so it's all inside the Google Ads platform. That said, what you have an opportunity to do with YouTube is reach people with a video-based ad when they have intent. When they're going on YouTube and they're looking up, I have this problem, these symptoms, I'm feeling this way. How can I actually get my health in order? How can I get in better shape? How can I cure this, ailment that I happen to have? They're going on YouTube, they're looking that up, and then you can get in front of them at that time when they have intent based on what they're searching on YouTube, what they're searching on Google, websites that they're going on. We'll talk all about the really cool ways to target people in just a second. But you have a big opportunity to reach people at the time that they have intent and they're in that learner's mindset. And if you reach them at that time, that's when they're much more likely to book that consult, when they're much more likely to actually take action versus randomly popping up on someone's feed. When they are actually looking for a solution, if you can get in front of them with a video, the right message at the right time in front of the right person, that's the key to marketing success. And that's why I recommend starting out on YouTube.
Yeah, that's great advice. And I think YouTube is such a good fit for alternative, natural, functional medicine healthcare providers and coaches because it is so education based and it's search based, everything you just said. So, on Facebook, like you said, it's a scrolling media. And maybe you can grab them with an ad, maybe you can't. Even if you do, you're kind of interrupting what they were doing, and it just doesn't have the same congruency. With YouTube, they're actually looking for what you have to offer, and you educate them even before they opt into your list. So you've already built some credibility, some authority, and put yourself out there as someone who leads with education. And I think that's so valuable for not only getting the lead, but turning them into a customer. So I think it's a great platform. One question is, especially for maybe practitioners who are just moving online or trying to build online, their online presence. Can you talk a little bit about organic YouTube videos, like just creating a channel, building a channel, and so forth, versus YouTube ads, or maybe using them even together? And how does a practitioner know, when it's time maybe to jump to the ads or focus on one versus the other?
Absolutely. And the best part about YouTube is that the ads and the organic content, they go hand in hand. And so one of the things that we've really seen is, and I mentioned earlier, how to know when you're ready for ads. That's when you're ready to scale. And to dive into ads at that point, because I see a lot of people try to do more organic and create more and more content. And that's a strategy that can grow over time, right? But that's more of a long tail strategy versus ads, you can turn it on and you can get that new stream of customers and clients and patients coming in much more quickly when you set it up the right way. We'll talk about that in a second. But when it comes to organic, that's something that you also really want to invest your time into, right? So you're going to invest more money directly into ads. And of course, there's a time component and there's a money component to both of these, right? But on ads, it's more, more money that you're initially investing. But then, of course, you're getting that back in terms of new patients, new clients, people coming in. But you're investing that. And then it takes some time to set up. But once it's set up, you have that running and it's consistent. On the content side, it requires less capital, less money, but it does require more time and more consistency. But when you have that opportunity to go and start producing content on YouTube, it builds a back catalog, because similarly, YouTube is the best platform for long tail organic content, especially if you're, in this space that you're all in, right? Where you're helping people with their health, with their wellness, with different ailments that they've happened to have, because people are going to constantly be looking that up on YouTube. And there's a way to go and target people with ads, but there's also a way to reach people just based on having an organic video. So if you talk about some of the ways to help with symptoms or diseases someone might have, or ways that they can exercise or holistically help with their health, whatever happens to be that you're helping people with, you start creating those videos on your YouTube channel. You're creating a back catalog of videos that exist, and that serves multiple different purposes. One is, yes, you can reach new people. So if people search it, then you have an opportunity as you grow your organic channel to climb in the search rankings and results. And we talked about, keyword search works really well on the ad side. We'll talk about that in a second, but you can even use that on the organic side to see, okay, what are some trending keywords? What are people searching for in your industry? And then see, okay, what content should I produce around that? And so you can start creating this content, and people will be able to naturally discover you when they go to YouTube, which is the second largest search engine, right? Right after Google, people are going to YouTube and they're looking up ways to solve the problems that they have. And so you can get in front of them, not just with ads, but also with organic content. But in addition to that, you also have an opportunity to build what I call a YouTube channel incubator, because not all patients and not all clients actually decide to become a patient right away, right? Actually decide to, book a consultation or come and visit a clinic, right? They might be in the research phase. So maybe they see you on an ad, or they see you by discovering your channel. But then they start to go down the content rabbit hole. They start consuming more and more of your content. I'm sure probably everybody who's listening or watching this right now has done that at some point with some YouTube channel or some business you're considering doing business with. You probably go in and start consuming a lot of their content. And that's exactly what your patients are potentially doing as well. So they can find your YouTube channel and then start watching the relevant videos. We call it an incubator because it's warming them up so that it gives them trust, gives you credibility for them to be able to then say that they want to, work with you or have that consultation and take action.
Yeah, excellent points. And I definitely want to go down that YouTube ads rabbit hole in a second. But one of the things that's on everyone's mind is obviously the emergence of TikTok, of short form video content, Reels, and obviously YouTube responded by launching YouTube Shorts. So can you talk about how YouTube Shorts figure into this both incubator phase as well as ad phase? You can run obviously, ads on YouTube Shorts as well. And so again, what's your advice there when practitioners create content? Is long form, typical YouTube long form content advisable for the channel and for the incubator versus short form Reels? Is it a combination of both? What would be your advice to our audience?
That's a great question. So I definitely recommend creating long form content first, and then you can repurpose that as short form content. So essentially creating videos on YouTube, and then we'll get into the ad side in a second, but on the organic side, you want to create videos that are anywhere from typically 8 to 15 minutes long. Now, some could be shorter, some could be longer. That's kind of the sweet spot. Around 10 to 12 minutes is kind of that sweet spot on an organic YouTube video. You're providing value, you're educating on a particular topic. You have a, similar to ads, and we'll get into the structure of an ad, it's just a little bit of a longer video, but you have some kind of compelling hook or title that brings people in. You're providing value, you're educating. And then at the end, you can have a call to action at the end of that organic video where you can link in the description. So we'll talk about ads in a second, but it's actually a very similar process. It's just the difference with organic video is it is more a longer education piece of content, right? It's more education focused, whereas ads is kind of pretty split between that and also the call to action and leading them to that next step. But what we want to do is you want to provide that value, and then you can actually run that through a software. There's an AI software called Opus Pro, and I'm not affiliated with that software. It's just one that I really love. But Opus Pro, you can go in, upload a long form YouTube clip, and it will automatically find all the different short form pieces of content using AI. It will clip it all together. It will make it cohesive and make sense. I've tested about a dozen of these softwares. That's the best one that I found. And it'll actually create about a dozen different shorts from any individual long form piece of content. So you can create that long form piece of content on YouTube and then use a tool like Opus Pro to go and actually create that short form content that you can then upload on YouTube Shorts and cross post to TikTok, Instagram, other platforms. In terms of short form, that's better for people to discover you for the first time because you're going to pop up in their feed. And then the goal is to get them to subscribe. But the short form content isn't necessarily going to warm them up enough to want to become a patient or client. That's a way for them to discover you. Then the goal is for them to watch that long form content. In YouTube now, they have a new feature where you can link a short form video to a long form video. So if you create the long form video and then you use an AI tool to grab all the different clips and then you upload those and you link it in the related video. So when you upload a short now on YouTube, it asks you for the related long form video. You select that video, and then there's a natural way for, as people watch that short, they can click the link to see the long form video. But YouTube's also really smart. It's not just click that link. If somebody watches a short and they like the short and they interact with it, YouTube's more likely to recommend your long form video to that same person to watch the longer video. And then now they're going down that rabbit hole on your channel.
Wow, really interesting. So you mentioned this a few minutes ago, the structure of an ad, and I was going to ask you about that next, is the anatomy of an ad and how you put that together. And the middle section of that, where you're really delivering content, that's going to be what, 5-7 minutes, something like that, maybe a little shorter. You can maybe talk more about that, but how do you know what to put into that section? And then sort of as a piggyback question to that, do you recommend creating a wide variety of ads or just having one ad that you kind of run over and over again?
That's a great question. So breaking down an ad, and it's going to be a little bit different than the long form YouTube videos. So the ad is going to be a little bit shorter. Typically, you want it to be anywhere in like the 2 to 6 minute range. Now, YouTube is going to recommend a 3-minute or less ad. However, if you're able to provide more value with a longer ad, you might pay a slight premium. But if that actually, if you're able to actually provide more value and have people more likely to become a patient or a client, then it can be worth that extra premium. So YouTube, there's algorithms now. It used to be more simple with how they charge. There's algorithms that could be a whole talk in of itself. So I'm not going to dive into the weeds of that. But it can charge you a little bit more in terms of the CPMs or the amount that you're paying per view or impression over a 3-minute long video. However, what we've found is there are still many clients, ourselves included, that have 4 or 5-minute long ads that we might pay a slight premium, but they outperform because we're providing more value on the ad. But typically, you want to be somewhere between at least a couple minutes long for a direct response ad up to about 6 minutes. And what you're going to want to do is have a hook that pulls people in so that really captures their attention. And we want to actually create multiple hooks. So I'll talk about our formula for crafting these ads. We want to come up with these different hooks that pull people in. Then we want to educate and provide value. That's what you were talking about, Brian, as well. Is like you want to make sure that you're actually providing that real value that your patients or ideal clients are really going to be looking for. So how can you either bust misconceptions? How can you, show them things that they can do, or maybe why other doctors or other areas have failed them before, and how you can be able to actually help them, or why what they're looking up on YouTube that might not be the right path, and what you want to do is help support them with your way of helping to treat, whatever it happens to be, or helping them with their health or wellness. again, it's going to be very unique to every individual business. What you want to do is you want to educate and provide value, but you also want to do it in a way that's like a golden nugget, right? So very valuable, but it's also small, right? That's why we call it a golden nugget, because you don't want to talk on and on and on. You do want to get to have people take action, right? And the final piece is the call to action. So that's to get them to click that link and then opt in for whatever your lead magnet happens to be, whatever that next step is, or a consultation. Typically, you want this to be something that is going to be free. It's either going to be a consultation or it's going to be a lead magnet that they can download, like a PDF, or it's a webinar that they can sign up for, or a training. There's a few different ways to do it, but essentially hook, educate, call to action. And then what I typically will recommend is doing anywhere from 3 to 6 different hooks. So there's different variations of hooks. You can pose a question. You can ask, what if this was possible, right? So what if hooks. There's bold statements, kind of hooks, right? It kind of create an us versus them. I've done that before with YouTube ads, beat Facebook ads every time. That's one of my very popular hooks. I also have other ones that are curiosity based, right? So what if you could ethically hijack your competitor's traffic and send it directly into your own funnel? We'll show you how to do that with YouTube ads, right? That's another one that it's a what if, and it's also interesting. It's curiosity based. And again, there's a few different ways to do this, right? I also have one where I have my $200 million YouTube ads PDF. It outlines the full YouTube ad strategy that's generated, over $200 million in revenue for our clients. And I'm holding the PDF. So that, is providing value. I want to give this to them, but it's also a hook in of itself because people want to know what's inside the PDF. And so there's different ways to do it. But really you just want to capture people's attention and try a few different variations of these hooks. And by the way, I will give, we talked about a resource. I'm going to give that PDF that I'm actually referencing as a gift to everybody here. And I actually have, there's about 8 different variations of hooks that you can create with some examples inside of that PDF. So there's some more details there. But basically you want to create these hooks. In terms of the educate section, you could film, let's just say you do 2 variations of educate. And the 2 common ones is either explaining one topic a little bit more in depth, maybe taking a couple minutes to explain one particular thing that you can help people with, educating them on one thing. And then the other is very bite-sized, maybe 3 to 5 small pieces that you're telling them, either misconceptions or things that's going to help them, some type of value you can provide there. So let's say you want to test both of those. So let's say you filmed 6 different hooks and 2 different educate sections. And let's say you have 2 different funnels, one that goes to a PDF and one that goes to a webinar. Well, now what you happen to have is you have 24 different ad variations, right? So you have the 6 hooks, the 2 educates, the 2 call to actions, but you film all of that and it feels like you're filming 2.5 videos. You just film hook 1, hook 2, hook 3, hook 4, hook 5, educate 1, educate 2, call to action 1, call to action 2. You're not filming the whole thing back to back. You're filming them in pieces and you're putting them together like Lego blocks, right? And so in post-production, you can, have an editor go through and now you have 24 different video variations. 12 are going to one funnel, 12 are going to another. There's a couple of different educates, and then there's a few different hooks. And then that's going to give you enough different tests to see what's going to perform the best for your business.
Yeah, amazing. I was one of those people a few years ago that went through a $200 million funnel. Obviously, you piqued my curiosity. It's like, okay, how did he make $200 million? And obviously all the countless businesses that you affected. I'm wondering, what are some important or little known gotchas that, you can advise our audience on? It's like, don't do this, don't do this, as they enter into this arena of YouTube ads, so that they can spend their money more wisely.
Yeah, and the next thing I want to talk about is definitely the targeting. I've got several things there. In terms of the actual ad itself, I think the big thing to look at is, making sure that you do test different hooks. You don't want the video to be too short, but you also don't want it to be too long either. And I know it's whenever I say that, it's funny because it's like the Goldilocks type thing is you want it to be just right. But that's where it's going to depend for you. But you don't want to have any extra fluff in the ad, right? You want the ad to be, very initially it's got to capture their attention. So it's got to hook them, right? And you have a few different variations of that. The education, right? That's really all about providing real value. You're gonna have a little piece where you give some credibility, right? So you talk about, okay, here's the credibility that we have. And then provide value, right? And just kind of get to that golden nugget, right? This isn't time to add a lot of fluff. It's not a webinar. It's not, you want to go right into that. And then the call to action, very clear, exactly what you're going to get. Here's what it is. Click the link, and repeat the call to action multiple times. And then even after you stop talking, one pro tip is we like to actually have the landing page up on the screen for about 10 seconds after that to give people a little bit more time to click that link. Because sometimes people are so mesmerized or so excited to hear you talk that they forget. It's funny, but it actually happens. They'll forget to click the link. And so you'll actually see an increase in your click-through rate if you have that little squeeze at the end of the video where you just show the landing page. So those are kind of the tips on the video side. And then when it comes to the actual targeting, that's what I'm happy to dive into next and walk you through a little bit of what that looks like.
Yeah, I would love to go there with you. And I think probably be a good time to also talk about keywordsearch.com because that's such a great tool. So maybe talk about targeting in general, because that's a lot different on YouTube and Google ads than it is on Facebook, especially now. So maybe talk about some of the advantages and what people can do with targeting through Google and YouTube ads, and then how to use the keyword search tool.
Absolutely. And I really appreciate that. And exactly. So essentially the way that you target those ads is by building audience segments. In the past, it used to be more content-based targeting where you're targeting in front of, direct videos, placements, keywords that people might be have in a specific video. And keywords are still important, just in a different way. And so now you want to actually target based on audience segments. This is who these people are. And there's a few different ways that you can do it. And then I'll talk about keyword search and how that tool can make it a lot easier for you to be able to actually set all of that up. And so essentially, you want to target people based on a few different ways. There's affinity audiences, there's interest-based, and that's where you're going and you're building a custom affinity audience based on what people are interested in. And those are just words that are used to describe that person that Google understands. And you can actually go in and target people with an audience around their interests and what they're interested in, what they're in the market for, what they're looking for. But even going a layer deeper, so that's one of the first ones that people explore and dive into. But going a layer deeper, there's a custom intent audience. This is where you could target people. This is one of our favorites that we actually really expand, is you can target people based on searches they've done on YouTube or Google recently. Right. So if somebody's searching for, how to help with these symptoms, or how to, get healthy, or how to get in shape, or, whatever it happens to be that you're helping people with, they're searching for that, then you can target them with an ad on YouTube based on those searches, a custom intent. And we'll talk about how to actually find out what people are searching using keyword search. And then there's also a way to target people based on URL audiences. So you can actually target people based on websites they've been on in the past, which almost feels completely unfair to be able to do, but you can. And the reason for that is because YouTube, Google owns YouTube, and Google Analytics is installed on 55% of all websites online. So they know, because people are going to Google search to search for things, they click on sites. And then also they have Google Analytics and Google Chrome. All of those things are actually tracking where people are going. And so you can actually target people based on websites they've been on in the past. So now if you know that you can create these different audiences based on interest, based on what people are searching for, based on URLs, that's great. That's how you target them. But now you might be asking, well, how do you find all those things? Well, in the past, it used to take hours and hours and hours, and you have to do a lot of manual research. But now with keyword search and keywordsearch.com, the software that I created and that Brian was talking about, is like what you're going to be able to do is actually use keywordsearch.com to be able to go in and just describe your business, put in the URL of your website. We'll crawl the website. You describe your business just in plain English, click generate, and it uses AI to find all, in our own algorithm that we created as well. And we've been working on this for the last almost 3 years now. It'll go in and it'll find all of the different keywords that people are searching for on YouTube, on Google. It'll find the URLs that they're going to, the interests that you can plug directly into Google. You just select which ones that you want, and then you click sync to Google Ads. And in one click, you can actually sync all of those keywords directly to Google, and it'll be right there waiting for you inside of your ad campaign. Same thing with URLs. It'll find all the websites that your ideal patients are likely going to. You could just select all of them, right? So any of these different, health publications, different websites they might be going to, you select them, and then again, click sync to Google Ads, and you could build a URL affinity audience right off the back of that. You can also find all the different YouTube channels, apps. There's ways to target based on those as well, and you can sync those directly to Google. And even going deeper, you can even spy on competitors' ads and other people's ads for inspiration. Again, you want to create your own variation, but you could go into the ad spy library, and we actually have a full library of all the different YouTube ads that are out there as well inside of the tool. But the big point of the tool is to be able to use that AI audience builder to build out all of your YouTube ad audiences in minutes, in what used to take hours. And also you'd have to know exactly how to do it. And so that's keyword search, and keywordsearch.com. We've got a 5-day, free trial to go in and actually just start building all of that out for yourself.
Amazing, Aleric. And I know we could talk for hours, going even deeper into this rabbit hole, but where can people go if they want to learn more about you, your brand, the tools? And again, you mentioned a couple of things like your guide, as well as the free trial of the keyword tool. So where can people go next?
Absolutely. So the best couple places to go to is I've got that gift of our full 19-page YouTube ad strategy PDF. Walks you through step-by-step exactly how all of this works. You go to adoutreach.com/gift. That's adoutreach.com/GIFT. So adoutreach.com/gift. That's my gift to you. It's a full 19-page YouTube ad strategy PDF. Walks you through exactly how to set all of that up. And then there's an opportunity on the backside of that to watch some more trainings and book a strategy call if that is a good fit for you. If you want to have our team potentially help you map that out.